Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 22 of What If Naruto was the Otsutsuki King. Remember to get this one to 300 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also stay in tune. I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was born in the Uzumaki clan. So stay tuned for that and I hope you guys do enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you're hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Begin the intro. So, the last spot we left off. Haku was in trouble as she was currently surrounded by a squad of Yagura's forces as she thought that she could handle the situation with the 3 recruits that she took with her. But it turns out bad, they stepped right into an ambush as things started and escalated rather quickly. She was about to be killed when a hooded stranger appeared and grabbed the kunai from the man's hand, as he then snapped the man's neck without mercy. Several kunais were tossed at him from behind as Haku told him to watch it, but a cackling could be heard as all of them was electrocuted. Haku was shocked when he removed the hood. Naruto, she said. Naruto came back to the camp with Haku and his squad as well. As Mei Terumi was the leader, Mei then felt something dreadful, like a presence, an aura wash over the camp as she rushed outside to see the new people there, as Sabuza was accompanying her. Because of Yukimaru's similarities to Yagura, they thought that he was family of Yagura or something. Basically they look just alike, as Naruto released some of his power to make them back off. As Mei's sister then arrived, as things went south in the squad mission. As Ao was captured, something was wrong. It seemed like they have a mole, as Naruto pointed towards the old man and told me that he was a mole, as Naruto could feel the man's eagerness and he was sweating. But Mei wouldn't believe Naruto over one of her own advisors, as Naruto touched the man's forehead and the man started to spill everything, telling everything that he has done, as he recently joined the Yagura forces to make sure that all the bloodlines were wiped out. As Naruto sent Sasuke to get Ao, as him and Mei then sit down and talk, as he told her once he's taken care of Yagura, he will be taking the 3 tails. Mei told him that he cannot do that, the 3 tails are property of Kiri. But Naruto told her that she didn't really have a choice, and basically he's not asking. He came here to test his power, and if she wants, he can just test it against them. Release some of his power, making the entire place shake. As Mei had no other option but to agree with him. This kid was really starting to piss her off. For the remaining time that she stayed there with him, Naruto went on several raids for her by himself, destroying a large enemy camp and bringing the commander for them to interrogate. Despite his cocky attitude, she couldn't deny he was strong. As Naruto was strolling by Fu's tent when he heard her crying, as he stepped inside. As she was crying because he told me that she was a Jinchuriki, and she know how people always want to use Jinchuriki, and if Naruto leave her here, they would want to just use her all over again. But Naruto told that he will never leave her. He will never let anyone take advantage of her ever again. As she hugged him tight, happy for that. Naruto then went and visited Yagura, as Yagura was surprised that this man came in there, as his assistant was sent sailing through the wall. As Naruto told Yagura exactly where Mei and all her forces are, arriving back at the camp and relocating that information to Mei. Mei shot several lava bullets at him to melt him, as she was pissed, as the scouts then told her that they're coming. Arriving on the battlefield, Mei was still pissed off along with Mai, as the entire entire forces that Yagura possessed were coming. As Sasuke was looking over on a lightning bird watching all of them, there was a lot of them. As Naruto then slowly removed the coat, as Mei and the others who was close to him were shocked. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across to the place and check it out for yourself, so let's start this new episode. They were looking at him for two reasons. The reason because of this strange tattoo all over his body. As Mai couldn't help but blush. He was only wearing a dark pants with his boots. He wasn't wearing any shirt under that large coat that he was wearing. And she could now look at his body, which was ripped. She could see packs and peck. As it was very enticing. She shook her head. She could not be thinking about things like this now. As she looked over at her sister to see Mei looking at Naruto curiously. It was like the Sharingan Tomos, as it just surrounded his neck like a tattoo, and they went down on his arm. And the second thing was his coat. What the hell? Ayo said. As Ayo wasn't a man usually that burst out. But the coat, the thing was literally barreling down into the ground. What is that? He asked. Wait, Naruto said, with a calm expression. As Mei noticed that his group wasn't surprised. It seems like they already know everything about this, but how is that even possible? Mai went over to the coat as she tried to pick it up. As she was sweating trying to move it. She couldn't believe this. What the hell is this thing? This is what you've been wearing all along? Naruto cracked his neck. Are you blind? He said. She glared at him, but she was beyond surprised as Mei leaned down and tried to pick it up as well. As Mei's eyes went wide. What are you? She said, looking at Naruto. This is just beyond human. No one can wear something this heavy, and the way he walked around and flexed his power and his strength like it is nothing. Naruto then looked over at Karin. How much? He said. Karin sighed. You really got trouble on your hand this time, she said. 5,000. The words snapped into every one of the rebellion ears, as many of them started to waver, their confidence quickly going down. Them looking around at their forces, which were roughly about 600, faced off against 5,000 shinobis. Mei saw them sweating. If we survive this, I'm gonna kill you, she said to Naruto. Seeing that this was all of his fault for telling Yagura where they were. Naruto didn't say anything as he blinked away. Teleportation, Mei said. But he didn't wave any hand signs, said Mai. Every one of the Yagura forces that were behind him, they were startled when Naruto flashed in front of Yagura. But Yagura stood his ground, unwavering, looking directly into Naruto's eyes. As he had to look up, seeing that Naruto towered over him. Yeah, the man was really short. I must give you this, you have balls, said Yagura, to tell me exactly where your camp is located. You must really want to die. Naruto looked at him, studying the man. Do you have full control over your Biju? Yagura smirked. So you're starting to worry now. Knowing that I have control over my Biju, do you really think you can take me? You are a strong warrior, I will give you that. Seeing that you're new here, I can bring you into Kiri ranks after we annihilate all these rebellions. Mei narrowed her eyes as she was watching Naruto like a hawk. Sending a lot of chocolate to her ears, she could hear exactly what he was saying. A smirk came on Naruto's face. Well, you have the larger troops. That is right, said Yagura. Even with your power, there's no way you can stand up to me. And they will be dead soon enough. Yagura held out his hand. Join me, and I'll bring you into the Kiri ranks. You're a suitable ninja. You are already a missing nin. So with you here at Kiri, no other ninjas will come after you, because you have the full force of Kiri behind you, and we will crush them. Is that so? Said Naruto. Naruto held up his hand. Mei stiffened. She narrowed her eyes at Ayo. Get ready for anything, she said, as Ayo looked at her. As Mai looked up, sister, what's wrong? She asked. Just prepare yourself. Naruto stopped before touching Yagura's hand. When I said you have the more shinobi, I didn't mean it as a compliment. I mean, there's more chance to test my power. So while Naruto couldn't get to finish that sentence, as a seal poofed on Yagura's hand, his staff quickly appeared as he swinged it straight towards Naruto's skull. The man dragged the thing with so much power. If this connected with anyone's skull, it would have just completely obliterated it. As Naruto simply raised his hand and caught the staff, shocking Yagura and his troops behind him. As Naruto looked at the staff, Pumping more chakra to use against me is your worst mistake, he said. As several of Yagura's ninjas jumped over him and went through Hansa in mid-air. Water style, violent water wave! As Naruto had to jump away as a water wave crashed straight into the ground, destroying it in front of Yagura. But Yagura still didn't move as he stood there firm. His entire body covered by a layer of chakra, his own chakra protecting him from the dust and debris, and from the water from getting him soaked. Naruto looked at them as he raised his hand in the air. Suddenly, a Rasengan formed as wind started to dance around it as he thrust it forward. Yagura brought up his staff. Reflective mirror, he said. As the Shuriken Rasengan was reflected, another one came from the mirror and smashed into the original one, destroying it. As a violent dome of pure slicing winds, as Yagura had to jump away from the scene, land a distance away. It seems I overestimate your abilities. He looked at Naruto. I thought I would come here to fight someone worthy. But if this is how fast and how strong you are, then you are nothing compared to me. You're nothing but a lonely insect boy. I am a Kage 11 ninja. Did you really think that you could beat me? Naruto started to walk off as Yagura clenched his fist. This boy was just disrespecting him, turning his back towards him. As Yagura raised his hand, "Kill them all," he said. "Sasuke, you're up," Naruto said. The ninjas who were running forward were stopped as a lightning bird crashed right into the ground, sending dust and debris everywhere. The only thing they saw was a blur as they heard metal tearing through flesh. When the dust cleared away, Sasuke was holding on to his blade. His blade had a black blade with a golden hilt. This blade was a lot special than many, seeing that Naruto created for him. It can also negate and absorb chakra, and also release it on point. Several of the ninjas around Sasuke then collapsed down to the ground dead. As Naruto walked up back to Mei and her forces, as the ninjas started to attack Sasuke with ferocity, but Yagura stood back as some of the ninjas got past Sasuke and was coming towards the back of Naruto. Mai then rushed forward. "This idiot's gonna get himself killed," she said. As she went through hand sign, she took in a deep breath. Lava style. "Melting balls," she said. She fired out lava balls from her mouth, smashing into them as the man started to burn. I didn't know that you care that much about me," Naruto said. "I don't," she said. "Because we need your strength here. That's the only reason I saved your ass. Why are you just walking away from them? Turn your back. Do you want to get killed or something?" "No, it's not that. I promised Sasuke I'll let him test his skill first. So, I'm letting him do his thing before I go and do my thing. I suggest you don't intervene until I tell you to do so." "What? Do you really expect us to sit down and let one person attack? Do you think we're crazy? And why the hell should we listen to you?" "Because I said so," Naruto said, as his voice sounded more authoritative. As she looked at him, she glared at him. "Anything happen from now on, it's on your head, okay?" "Well, I can take that responsibility," Naruto said, as he walked back up to the group. "What now?" said Mei, as she looked back at the fight. As Naruto looked at her, "What do you mean?" Naruto asked. "I mean, you told us you will be testing your skills against these people. You'll be able to handle it. But it seems like my force will have to fight these 5,000 shinobis that you brought here. And if you haven't seen, we are just 600 and they're 5,000. Just give Sasuke some more time." "Are you really gonna leave Sasuke to fight alone?" Fu asked. "Is he gonna be okay?" Turning towards her, Naruto gave her a small smile. "Don't worry, he's gonna be fine, okay?" "Alright then, if you say so," she said. "He might get himself killed," said Guren. "Why would you say that?" said Yukimaru. "Because the bastard deserved it after all the hell he put you through." "You need to stop blaming for that, Guren. After all, I was the one who told him to push me to the limit. I wanted to become strong so I can protect my precious people. And I want to protect you, Guren, no matter what." Guren couldn't help but smile. "Fine, alright, I don't wish for him to die," she said. "Whoa, Sasuke has gotten really stronger," said Karen, as Naruto looked at her. "I mean, he's barely even trying. These ninjas," she looked over at me. "Which rank are they?" "Well, most of them are chonins, and some of them are low jonins. You see those squads over there," she said, as there was a squad that surrounded and were behind Yagura. Those are the elite Jonins that he kept for himself. Those are the ones he sent on dangerous missions. Those are the ones that we have to worry about. May clenched her fist. Well, it looked like things are getting started, as 5 of the elite Jonins move from Yagura as they rush over towards Sasuke. Yagura stood there, unfazed and unglaring, as Naruto then sit down on the ground. May sighed. If this boy was really as strong as he say he is, well, he was strong, she has to give him that. But for him to be this arrogant, he must be hiding something big. Behind you, said Karen, as May looked at Karen. The ground then break open behind Naruto, as May just sensed him. Seems that girl was efficient in sensory ability, as May never knew that she was that good. But Naruto still did the move, and something strange happened. The man tried to stab Naruto a kunai in the back of his head, but the moment the kunai came near to Naruto, the thing actually melted. May was beyond shock, as her lava release could melt kunai, but it didn't even touch him. It was then the thing moved on to the man's hand. The man's hand started to melt as he cried out in pain. Ayo and the others step away from the man, as the man literally melted down to nothingness, not even bone. What did you do to him? May asked, as she looked at Naruto. Are you blind? Naruto said. I saw what you did, but how did you do that? She said, in a more arrogant tone. Well, unlike your Hayaton ability, mine is more deadly. As she clenched her fists. What are you trying to do? Disrespect my ability? She said. Well, I do appreciate your Keki Genkai, but it's not that efficient if it can't hit its target. But unlike you, I can produce the heat and placed on one person. Focusing that power on them, it becomes incredibly hot, incinerating them. But you didn't even look back. How did you do that? She asked. Naruto didn't answer her. Sasuke, it's time, he said. Sasuke looked over at Naruto as he clenched his fists. I'm not done yet, he said. As Sasuke was currently surrounded, there was a few scrapes and scratch on him. It was because of the elite force, but he brought down 3 of them already and 2 of them are left. Everyone then felt a boost of chakra as they saw something running towards the battlefield. Something powerful was coming. Zabuza clenched his blade as May cursed. I was hoping that he wouldn't be here, she said. Who is that? Naruto said. As he looked at the man, he looked familiar. Wait, he did see him in the bingo book. But Naruto doesn't really pay attention to people who don't seem like a threat or anything. As the man had long black hair that went down into his face, and he had 2 blades. He was holding them tightly in his hand, and he had a strange container on his back. That's Reiga, said May as she clenched her fists. Things are getting heated up now, she said. May cursed. Another one? As she looked over at Kashimaru. This man had long, blonde hair that was poofed up, and he was wearing a white mask, and he had a needle blade in his hand. 2 members of the 7 Ninja Swordsman, said Zabuza. Looks like it's my time to step up. Zabuza-sama, said Haku. Don't worry, Haku, I'll be fine, he says. He clenched his blade as he started to walk forward, but Naruto stopped him. This is a good chance for Sasuke to test himself. Don't intervene. Kid, I know you have faith in your comrades, but that is 2 members of the 7 Ninja Swordsman. They will eat him alive out there. And if you think Sasuke is that weak, you're underestimating him. Sasuke leaped away from the battlefield, with the 2 members following after him. As Naruto picked up himself, I guess it's my turn. Mai then started to walk behind him, until Guren grabbed her hand. What are you doing? Trust me, you don't want to get caught up in this. What do you mean? Said Mai. Just watch, said Guren. What is he gonna do? Said Mai, as she looked at Guren. Well, I can't really explain to you, just have to watch. Yagura smirked. So you finally decided to step on the battlefield? Well, I was getting bored, said Naruto. But haven't you noticed? Sasuke has taken out many of her troops already, even though there's still a lot more left. Most of these demands are just cannon fodder, said Yagura. They are still useful though. But these are my real troops, he said, looking towards his elite members. And if you really think that boy can take out 2 members of the 7 Ninja Swordsman, you're highly mistaken. He will die soon, and then you will follow suit after. Is that so? Said Naruto. Naruto slammed his hand on the ground, as in a second a massive tree started to grow in the center of the battlefield, making all of the forces jump away. Yagura looked at this tree strangely. It was then that the vine started to lash out as it wrapped around one of Yagura's ninjas. The man started to cry as his body was turning rather pale, his hair was turning white. But the strange thing, the tree then connected to the back of his head, giving the man a lifeless look in his eyes. The man then smirked evilly as he started to attack Yagura's forces. The tree then lashed out, catching more of them. "Destroy the tree," one of them said as he went through hand sign, as he fired off a massive blade of wind. But to their surprise, the tree absorbed the attack and released it tenfold and started to rip through the forces. "Overpower them," said Yagura, as all the troops came rushing at Naruto, as the tree kept on restricting a lot of them, making them fight against them, using them like puppets. As some of them got past it and all of them came towards Naruto. As Mei stepped forward, "We need to do something. He's gonna..." As Naruto looked back at her, "I kindly suggest that you stay back, Mizukage." "Mizukage?" she said. "Well, someone's gonna need to become the Mizukage after all this is over. And it would be highly disappointing if you die now, after all the hard work you have done." Naruto then took in a deep breath, turning back as he released a massive flame. This was beyond anything they have ever seen before. As all of them, it took all of them going through hand sign, water style, water wall they said, as they created a massive water wall that was so tall, it looked like the ocean has risen up itself, but the flame kept on going on. Suddenly, the flame started to change to white, surprising them, and then it started to eat away at the water. That even shocked them more. The water could not stand up to him as his flame ate away the water completely, leaving not even a trace behind. Many of the ninjas jumped away, but the ones that got caught were incinerated in a second, as steam filled the entire area, as the white flames just vanished as they came. Mei and her troops' mouth was hanging open wide. "How could one person do that?" said Mai. "Well, that's Naruto for you," said Haku. "I told you that he was strong." "But this strong?" said Mai, as she couldn't believe what she was looking at. How could one person possess that much power? They then felt it, a burst of demonic chakra that blew away all the mist. Yagura was now pissed, but the first thing he headed for was a tree, as hundreds of his men were already being controlled. Dashing towards the tree as he was covered in a cloak with 3 menacing tails behind him. He lifted up his hand as he created a large hand made from pure yokai. As he thrust it towards the tree sent multiple wooden spikes after it, but the hand ripped right through all of them. As he felt the yokai being absorbed into the tree, giving it a darker color. As he went through hand sign, as he slammed his hand on the ground, multiple vortex of water started to appear everywhere as they rushed toward the tree in a spinning vortex. The moment they hit it, they became wild and violent as they shred right through the tree, as the hundreds of men that it killed already and were controlled collapsed to the ground as it was just using their bodies. Yagura then looked over as he saw his man trembling in fear. Looking up in the sky, he saw why. Thousands of black rods were raining down, piercing through them, as Naruto was at the front of this with his hands locked together. Looking around the field, his numbers had dwindled a lot from the fire, from the tree, from the rods. He barely had over 1,000 soldiers left. Meanwhile, Sasuke leaped out of the way as a strike from Reagan nearly took off his head. As Sasuke was now huffing, his Sharingan activated, even though he was still holding back, seeing that he hasn't showed everything that he's gotten yet. He then felt something flash beside him. "I can handle this myself." "It doesn't matter how strong you are, kid. You need backup sometime." As Zabuza was standing right there clenching his blade. "Zabuza," said Reiga, "again you choose the wrong side. Prepare to die." As the two 7 ninja swordsmen rushed at Zabuza, Zabuza clenched his blade and so did Sasuke as he lashed forward. Mei-sama," said Kojiro, "what do we do?" As Mei looked at the force, as she had no idea because Naruto seemed like he can handle this. Now she doesn't underestimate his power anymore as he realized he could have done it. He could have wiped all of them out if he wanted to, already killing over 4,000 ninjas by himself. And she knew that he hasn't even started fully yet. As he started to descend up into the sky, shocking them, as Naruto was the only one, the 1,000 ninjas looking up at him. Sasuke and Zabuza were distance away, so they wouldn't be caught up in this. It was then it happened, the thunder. The clouds started darkening right over the ninjas. Yagura stood there. Get back. Get back. Get back, he shouted. As all of the forces started to move back. Too late, Naruto said. As the lightning came down now, boom, electrifying ninjas after ninjas. Rain then started to storm down. But this rain was no ordinary rain. A man screamed out in pain and agony. What is this? As his skin was literally melting. Mei was shocked. Did he just manipulate the rain to use acid? Not even her, that has that bloodline, could use it to that level yet, but this kid. Just what the hell was he? Sis. Just what is this kid, said Mai. He can use our bloodline and also Haku's. But he's not a Yuki or a Terumi. So just what is he? To tell you the truth, I have no idea. But we're lucky he's on our side though. Because if he wasn't, we would all be dead right now. As Yagura watched his cloak protect him, as his man around him gets slaughtered. When the lightning and the rain finish, Yagura looked up to see Naruto in the air, the sun glowing behind him, showing him as some kind of deity, a god. Looking down on them. Do you understand now, Naruto said? You had no chance to defeat me in the first place. But it's you. You're the one I want to fight. Akagi level ninja. So don't disappoint me. As Naruto flashed away and so did Yagura. Mei looked over, she saw the remaining forces. At least 200 of them were left. I guess this is where we pick up the flunkies. Alright everyone, take them down, she said. Yagura and Naruto landed. Yagura clenched his fist. For killing my man, I will make sure you suffer an unimaginable death. No matter how strong you are, I will bring you down to your knees. If you do that, if you make me go on my knees, I will stop this fighting, and I will join you and attack the rebels myself. As Yagura smirked, lot of big talk. Keep acting that way, because you will be dead soon. I hope you enjoy this. The both of them blinked away as they met in the middle. Staff clashing against staff. Yagura was shot behind him straight, as Yagura was being pushed straight down into the ground. He quickly raised his hand. Yagura had a high affinity for water, same like the second Hokage. To suck the moisture from the air, release a large water blast that head towards Naruto's stomach. But the thing completely incinerated before it could reach him. Naruto swung his staff straight towards Yagura's head as Yagura dug under it, as he drive his staff to Naruto's stomach. As Naruto twisted his body, but the staff started to glow as he released a pulse of water that shot right into Naruto, blowing him back. Naruto was smirking in mid-air. Before he could land on the ground though, Yagura appeared above him as he drive the staff on Naruto, hitting him hard. As Naruto's body crashed to the ground, Yagura appeared in front of him and stomped his foot in his face. I told you were nothing. Despite what you are, I am still a Kage, and you're just a boy. I see. Yagura's eyes went wide. That clone you were fighting just had 3%. So, at least you can handle that. Well, for you being a Kage, it's still pitiful though. 3%, and you think you're already winning. As Naruto was floating in the air looking at Yagura. When did you switch to the clone? Yagura asked. Naruto simply smirked as Yagura went through hand sign. Water style. Raining chasm, he said. As a large dose of water broke from the ground, creating a massive wave that hung over Naruto. Yagura then went through another set of hand sign. Water style. Deadly needles. As the water started to shape and change their shape into needles, as it was at least a million of them. So the amount of water was at least a million, as all of them surrounded Naruto. "Let's see you get out of this," said Yagura, as he lowered his hand, as all of them rushed towards Naruto. Opening his eyes, a force came from his body that blew all of them away. "Was that all you got?" Naruto said, as he dived towards Yagura, swinging his staff towards Yagura's head. Yagura thought that he ducked under it when he felt a brutal pain in his side to see an arm came from Naruto's side and fisted him right in his side. He coughed up blood as Naruto smashed his fist into Yagura's face. Yagura's nose cracked instantly as Naruto kneed him right under the chin, knocking him straight up into the ear. Blurring away with pure speed, Naruto drove a fist on top of his skull as Yagura's head shook. He lost all sign of vision for a second there. A brutal kick connected into his back as he was sent soaring into the ground. With a loud boom, his body crashed. Picking up himself slowly, blood was pouring from his eyes, his nose, and his mouth. As he wiped it away, the chakra around him had subsided. "No, I will not go down like that," said Yagura. You cannot win." He slammed his hand on the ground as Naruto could feel the man pouring every ounce of chakra he had into the next technique. Mei and the others stopped fighting as they completely eradicated all the remaining shinobis. A few of their own died, but at least they won. Looking up in the air, their eyes went wide as a ball of water started to form, sucking all the moisture. The thing started to radiate with pure power until Yagura chakra started to finish up as he tapped into the Biju's chakra. As the water ball started to behave wild with a red glow around it. Adding more power, the thing became large as it started to change shape into a massive spear. The thing was 2 times bigger than Kiri. That's how large it was, as it was directly over Naruto. Yagura smirked, clenched his teeth, blood pouring down. "Let's see you survive this," he said. Demonic spear. As he released it, the thing came plummeting out of the air. Everyone had to take cover because when the effect hit, this would be truly massive. Naruto looked up at the massive spear with an uninterested look on his face. It seems like he still don't understand that he's nothing compared to me. It's time I stop holding back so much. It's making them think that they have a chance. It was then the people of the rebellion felt it. The beast being unlocked from his cage. The amount of power Naruto released from his body watched over the battlefield as Yagura's eyes went wide. As a massive hand made from pure chakra, golden chakra, raised as it clenched his fist. It smashed its fist right into the demonic spear as the entire thing exploded. The force sent every Kiri ninja blowing away. The rebellion forces and Kiri bodies on the ground. Sasuke and Zabuza, they were also sent sailing, along with Reiga, as the other 7 ninja swordsmen was dead. This went on for a good few seconds. When it all cleared away, Yagura was on his knees as he used up all of his chakra in that attack to crush this bastard in front of him. A smile came on Yagura's face as he saw Naruto lying down in the water from the spear attack. "It seems I won," Yagura said, as he pulled himself to go over there. Mei's eyes went wide. He lost? As they heard a small chuckle. "He's always playing people for a fool, you know that?" said Karen. "What's going on?" said Fu as she looked over. "Is he okay?" As Karen sighed, Gurin slapped her head. "He's really doing this right now." "What is going on?" said Mai. As Yagura, face faulted at the sight that he saw. Naruto was snoring, lying on top of the water snoring. Not even a single scratch was on him. Hearing Yagura coming up, Naruto lifted up his head. "Oh, sorry about that. That was so worthless, I actually fell asleep." Yagura couldn't believe what he just heard. This boy, insulting his pride, insulting his way as a ninja, and insulting his power. Enough. Enough, Yagura said. Enough! He screamed as his eyes turned blood red. Power exploded out of the man. As all of them watched, the rebellion force stepped back. They never thought they would actually see this. The giant form of the three-tailed turtle coming out. As Yagura's demonic voice could be heard. Let's see you take me on in this, he said, as he dropped the three tails on Naruto, creating a massive boom. The ground shook for several seconds as he moved away his tails. As he looked down, but nothing was there. Was his body oblique? He couldn't get to finish that sentence as something hit him from behind. The three-tail was sent sailing up in the air. Many ninja mouth went wide as he couldn't believe the sight. Did a person just kick a tail beast up into the air? Was that even possible? What the hell? Yagura said as something then made contact with the shell that sent tremors through the beast's body as he was sent diving down to the ground. A boom. The thing crashed and created a massive earthquake that shook the entire area. Sasuke and Zabuza arrived back at Mei. Is it over? Mei asked. Yeah, said Zabuza. What is going on? Said Sasuke. Yagura transformed into the three-tailed turtle. Things are getting really bad. But for him, said Mai. Look at him. He's handling a tail beast by himself. She looked at Sasuke with her eyes. Just what exactly is your friend? Is he a Jinchuriki as well? Nope, said Fu as she walked over. He's just really strong. I'll give him that, said Kojiro. Beyond strong. Yagura flipped himself back over as he glared menacingly at Naruto. You damn brat, he said. Look who's talking. You're a grown-ass man and you're far shorter than me, Naruto said. And I truly apologize. Apologize? Yes, I was wrong. I thought it would be a challenge just because you were a Kage. But I did realize something. Compared to the one tail, you're just a step forward, the two and then three. And you're not that strong, Naruto said. Seems I waste my time coming here. Waste your time? Slaughtering my people. Fighting me was a waste of time. Well, I'll make sure I send you home with regrets. Naruto felt a buildup of chakra as Yagura built a massive ball. It wasn't the standard Biju ball, this was different. It was a compact ball of water that was mixed with the yokai. As Naruto noticed something was off. You kill my people, I'll kill back yours. Yagura turned his head as he fired off the ball. As me and my eyes went wide along with the others, as it was coming towards them. As Yagura smirked, but he saw Naruto was gone. The ninja started to step back in fear, but Sasuke stepped forward as he was about to do something. As Naruto appeared, as he held up his hand, absorbing all of the power from a technique. As everyone released a sigh as smoke came from Naruto's hands, he looked back as he saw Fu as she opened her eyes. You save us, as she smiled at him. But Naruto wasn't smiling as he turned towards Yagura. He blinked away as he appeared in front of Yagura once more. It's a shame. You gone and kill yourself, Naruto said. Yagura chuckled. Kill myself? And how is that so? Before anything, I must ask. How are you talking to me, Naruto said. Shouldn't your beast be talking? I don't have any obligation to tell you anything, said Yagura. Naruto's eyes activate. His golden Rinnegan as he scanned over Yagura. Now this is strange. You're being controlled? Yagura looked at him strangely. Who? Who do you think could control someone like me? It seems like your eyes are not working well. I wonder. As Naruto looked around, he shook his head. It doesn't matter. It seems like I understand you now a bit. Why you decided to create this blood rain, seeing that you were calm Kage before. But you gone and screw up. And even if I did break this control over you, the people still hate you for what you did, and all of your followers are dead. Kire will have to restock. But Mei and her shinobis, she still have civilians, a lot of them. And I know that you have a lot of them as well. So at least they will be in the village. Stop your talking, said Yagura as he rained on tails on Naruto. But this time, something was different. This wasn't the same playing around Naruto that was messing with him a minute ago. One simple wave of his hand as all the tails were sent blown away. Yagura was shocked as he tried to bring them down again, but Naruto blinked away. Naruto appeared in front of his face in an instant. Before Yagura could try anything, a feet connected on the top half of the shell. As it cracked, the force then came after that, sent Yagura sailing through the earth. As he smashed into several earth pillars, Naruto slammed his hand on the ground as several wooden vines came out. As Naruto held both of his hands up in the air, the lightning started to crackle again as he dropped his hands. Lightning made contact with the three tails as it exploded outwards. It was then Naruto rained down a tornado that smashed into it. As he then held up his hand, "Divine light," he said, as a massive sword made from pure golden light emerged. The thing was enormous and could be seen from all the way at the rebel camp, as the people wondered what the hell was that. A Biju ball quickly started to build in front of the mouth of the captured Biju. The black ball started to grow larger and larger as Naruto released the sword. The Biju ball was released as well, but Yagura's eyes went wide when his sword simply cut right through his Biju ball, dissipating it like it was nothing, as the sword sliced right through the three tails and then imploded upon itself. Even Naruto had to jump away as this attack was devastating. Jumping back towards the rebel, Naruto slammed his hand on the ground as a white barrier appeared. None of the effects could be felt inside, but all over the world tremors could be felt. Small earthquakes in all other nations, even though Kira was isolated in the water. This attack was massive. The thing went on for a good 5 minutes to implode on itself. As Mei was looking at Naruto who was in front of her, still not wearing any shirt, she felt her cheeks get hot. Doing these heroic things, saving her and her people, and looking so damn hot as well. She couldn't help it. And his power was something for people to admire. As Mai was thinking the same thing as well. And she couldn't believe one person was so powerful. As Naruto then lowered the barrier. Looking around, he saw that people were looking at him with pure respect and a bit of fear, some of them, because if he was to turn on them, it would be really bad. I mean really, really bad. When all the dust and smoke cleared, "What is that?" one of the ninjas said, as they saw a massive pool of chakras just floating there. It was about to fly up in the air when Naruto held out his hand, as a golden cube appeared, trapping the chakra inside. As Naruto shrank the cube, making it very, very small. As he brought it back over to him, examining the cube. "Is that?" said Mei. "Yes, what is left of the three tails?" "Well, I'll be taking this now. Any objections?" he asked. No one said anything as Mei spoke. "Well, I suppose you can take it," she said. "You did save us, and if it wasn't for you, we would be overpowered. So I guess that can be your reward." "Is that so, Mizukage?" "I'm not the Mizukage yet," she said. "Well, you know you still owe me, right?" "What? I just handed you a tail beast." "Oh, you're wrong, I thought this," Naruto said. "You owe me for saving your village." A smile came on his face. "Having a Kage owe you. That's gonna be nice," he said. "What do you mean by that?" she asked. As Naruto simply turned his back, snapping his finger, the cube vanished. As Fu rushed up to him as she grabbed his arm. "Are we heading home?" "Yeah," Naruto said. As Karin and Guren glared at her, but she never saw it. Sasuke simply sighed as he turned to walk away, with Yukimaru following behind him. As Yukimaru saw Sasuke as some kind of a master or something, despite Naruto being far stronger. Meanwhile, in the rebellion base, there was 5 stone ninjas. "This is the right tent," as they were planting explosive underground. They went through hand sign using the earth style to fix the explosive, so it couldn't be seen as it was buried underground. The moment he arrived in his group, we will take them all out. We're lucky that this place is poor and they take bribe, or we wouldn't have found any clue about him. But we will finish him once and for all and report right back to our Tsukage. Hey, Gujo, I can sense a lot of chakra signatures coming. We need to go. Is everything finished? As they nodded. Alright, let's go, said Gujo, as all of the men headed out of the tents. As they still remain in here though massing their chakra signature, it's time they kill that boy once and for all for what he did. But these guys are going to be messing up right now, trying to kill Naruto and his friends, especially Fu, who Naruto saw as someone that he need to protect because of what she went through. Well, you guys will have to see how it will turn out next time, because I'm out for now, guys. This is the end of the episode. And yeah, I hope you enjoy, and comment down below and tell me that you want next part, guys. You know it will be out as soon as possible. I'm out for now. Peace.